Okay, we are officially up and running. We're recording.
Yes, Ricky.
Ricky just took a phone.
Tell me, I apologize, man. I'm on a webinar and I just picked up the phone. Tell me who this is again.
Okay, so Brittany, I am talking to you now. Tell me a little bit about what you and your dad do. I just muted your dad, so.
Okay. Well, kind of our dynamic.
Yeah.
Well, I am his office manager, helping with all of his marketing, some of his the staging, scheduling appointments, just fun things like that. Until I get my license, then I get to do a little bit more. So I'm actually in the process of working that out now. I have my last class on the 8th and 9th, and then I'll take my national test, hopefully whenever I can get that scheduled, but hopefully in the next 2 months, I'll be able to have my license, which is awesome. And then I'll be able to help them with the clients, a little bit more with the contracts and fun things.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Thank you. Sorry about that. So, in my defense, my mom is in an assisted living home, and so if I get a phone call from that area, I always pick it up because I don't know if it's one of the workers. So sorry.
No worries, no worries. So Ricky, tell me a little bit about what you do.
So I'm with Better Homes and Gardens in Gary Green. I'm a licensed realtor. I've been practicing with them for about 3 years now. My office is off of Barker Cypress in the Cypress area. However, I cover quite a large area throughout the Houston and the surrounding. And I help people buy, sell, rent, kind of whatever they want in the real estate market. I think one of the caveats is I'm retired. I do this because I really like it. Because I remember thousands of years ago when I was in the same situation. So it's fun for me. And it's the other part is there's no pressure. I'm not one of them hard pressure salespeople because it's more important it's all about them. People talk about it, but other people don't necessarily always act on like that.
Yeah. So you work mainly with residential then, or do you do residential and commercial?
So I do residential only right now. And I may not ever move over to the commercial side.
Okay. That's awesome. So really curious, tell me about the buying market and the selling market right now.
Well, you know what, when you called me and asked me kind of to do this, I actually went on this morning. In the last 10 days, there's been about 240 homes listed. Now, out of the 240, probably maybe 10 or 15% of that is relisted homes. In other words, homes that have been on the market, came off, been back on the market. So the homes, people are selling homes right now. I mean, it's pretty surprising, even with everything going on, that people are still, for whatever reason, moving forward with based on some of the things I've seen from some of the realtors, even some of my clients, work is transferring them or has, started transferring. So they place their homes on the market.
Awesome. Has anyone supposed to be closing in this last month that they've kind of or last month where they've kind of put it on freeze or anything, or stop their buying? Is that even possible? Stop the buying process because of the corona?
So I think I think that's with the exception of people that have been put on furlough or been have lost their jobs. One of the things that I listened to lender earlier this morning, and she was basically, given information about how and why a buyer it can stop the process, or the process can stop. Because typically, right before the closing, lenders or underwriters, they go back in, they check employment and check, to make sure people are still in the same situation as when they started the lending process. So however, there's been people that have been put into that situation. So that in that case, the buyer is able to, I believe, work with the lender to, stop the process. When it gets to that point, I mean, the realtors, they'll do the documentation and help out, but it's pretty much kind of the call of the lender. Now, you can't just, as a buyer, stop or change your mind, but then if there's no real good reason, many times you'll lose your earnest money.
Yeah, awesome. So we talked briefly, I guess, last week, and like, what are the steps in home buying? Like if you're thinking about it, what are some things that you need to start doing before you even go buy a home?
So, I think everything is different. Right now, what I've been talking to my clients about is going through the lending process. I provide them some of the preferred lenders that I've been using, I've been very successful with, and they'll do an application with them, and they'll provide them all the documentation. I mean, and right now, because of a lot of people's environments where they're able to concentrate on getting the lender everything that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's important. I've seen many cases, or I've seen some cases, that where a person is in the process of getting approved, is out looking at houses, and may not be in the market that best suits their living situation. What I've told quite a few people before the lockdowns happened, I was doing open houses, and I met people in open houses, and I told them that it's really important that they call a lender. Actually, even before that, sit down with their significant other or just by themselves and do a really good deep dive into their own financial situation, a comfortable mortgage payment. It's funny that a person will get qualified for $300,000, a $300,000 home, and then they turn around and say, "Oh no, that's not the payment I'm not comfortable with that payment." So the lenders that I work with are very good about sitting down and saying, "Okay, if you want a payment between $1,800 and $2,000, this is the window you need to be at." And it also, one of the other things that interest rate and then the tax rate of the area that they're looking for a home, those play a big part. So once the client or the person and the lender get together and figure that out, then they can let me know, I'm looking for a home between 280 and 20, and in a perfect world, it needs to be at least 3.2% tax or less, and then it goes down to the nuts and bolts of the home. We actually sit down and we talk a lot about, how many bedrooms they need or want, we're a big lifestyle company. It's all about the lifestyle. Sometimes maybe you move out a little further than you're comfortable for, because the lifestyle, when you're not at work, is what you want.
Yeah.
So we take all those things into consideration, and then we start searching for homes. I provide them with my my app. It's and my real estate app. And the app is connected directly to HAR, so it's real time. So they'll be able to see all the homes that are coming on the market as they come on the market, and they'll be able to save the different homes and let me know, what they're looking at exactly. And then I can actually reach out and do some calling to the realtors and some homework on the homes prior to us getting there.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So
Locked up a little bit.
what?
I said you locked up for a second there.
Oh man. So we talked briefly about last week about that nonprofit that your daughter works at. Do you want to talk about that at all, or did that go good, or did that conversation go bad, or?
I missed the question. You locked up the nonprofit to get people credit ready. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like, was that a good conversation last week? Is that something we can talk about, or what?
Yeah. So no, it's a great conversation. So my oldest daughter works for a non-for-profit organization out of Tampa. And it's really weird I say out of town. She's with me right now, but she's actually doing all her work with clients from Tampa. Her husband's in the service, and he's in Korea deployed right now. And so, the family came to live with me to just kind of to relax a little bit and have family around. But anyway, so she gets on the phone every day and does Zoom meetings like this, and has clients in Tampa, in the Tampa area. And some of them she's been working with for quite a long time. And I know that last Monday she came in and all excited that 4 of the clients she's been working with for almost a year and a half went from 400 credit scores to 700 plus, and now they're under contract with their new homes. So I've been talking with her and trying to see what it takes to put a grant together, maybe do something like that in the Houston area. And I'm sure there is a lot of people that help with the credit worthiness. I think the one thing that really like a lot about the organization that she works with is that it doesn't cost the clients anything. It's a government, they're getting grants to come in, and they meet certain requirements. They're helped and they're coached. And when I mean certain requirements, they may have to take a class here, or they may have to do something else. And as long as they meet those, they get the one-on-ones with the counselors. And so I've a friend of mine who is also, and we talked about maybe seeing what it takes to get that started for this area, because as I work with people, I meet more and more people. I think they're starting to realize that they need to do some things, meet some steps so that they can get qualified to buy their first home.
That is awesome. Yeah, because a lot of times people, they'll be making really great money and they can afford a house, but their credit scores, like they were just really stupid as younger adults, and their credit scores are horrible. And there's sharp companies out there that charge, I don't know, thousands of dollars to help clean up their credit, and there's no guarantee,
Yeah, there's a few companies out there that I know of that charge monthly payments. I think the big thing about really concerned about is this: you're locked in. You have more time that you're not running around doing other things that really can focus on you, your family, and the qualification process. Because once you start the qualification process, maybe there's a couple hiccups. That's okay. But at least you can be coached on what things you need to do, what steps you need to take right now to put yourself in a posture to buy a home. And what I've seen in the past is people have, they're kind of hot and cold. All of a sudden, they really want to buy a home. They look at a couple. They found the perfect home, the approval letter. There's a couple of hiccups. It's going to take a little bit longer. The house is sold or goes pending with somebody else. And all of a sudden, they're heartbroken. They step back and they lose their focus or lose their drive. And right now, it's a great opportunity for them to really get qualified, take the steps that they need to provide the documentation to the lenders so that the lenders can get them through as far as they need and get the pre-approvals. And then the whole time they also can be watching the market, looking at some of the homes that really are interesting to them. And one of the things I love doing is I don't mind going out and doing a virtual tours for them, because we need to break it down to the last couple homes that they like before they start really going out and going to the houses. And the reason being is, everybody's really scared. When you go out when you go out looking at houses, you want to make sure that you don't take so many people. I've been on house showings in the past where the husband, the wife, the kids, the grandparents, and I love that also, but right now in this environment, we can't really do that. The one that made a decision and then maybe do a follow-up visit, so that it works out for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Those are great tips. Some great advice there. Do you have anything else? Like, I can't think of any other questions to ask, but do you have anything that is important for people to be doing or considering in home buying?
So in the home buying thing, I think we pretty much covered it. Is find a lender that works with you, and don't just use one. I mean, you need to make them compete for your business, because there's a lot of different things out there, a lot of different products, and some of the lenders have different products. So I've seen a couple of my clients, they go back and forth with two till they get to that makes the most sense. It may be all the way till a couple of weeks before closing till they realize which lender is the one. The next thing is just determine where you want to be, what makes the most sense for you, where you work, from where your kids go to school, things like that, lifestyles. And then the other thing is, what is the things that you want in a home, and what are the things that you just are non-negotiables. The reason I say time, if you go look at a house that maybe you want only a gas range, but they have an electric, and if you don't want electric range, there's really no reason to see it. I mean, you can call me, I can call them and find out if that's an option or it can be converted. Because you might fall in love with the house, and then that makes it hard for you to say, because it doesn't have what you want. So it's really important that you find the place that you really want. One of the things we really haven't talked about is the selling of your house. So if it's something that you're really interested in doing as a presentation, I'll show you, number one, the things that myself and Brittany do to, number one, get your house ready. You live in a house one way, you sell it another. You show it another way. So I have 20 by 20 storage full of staging stuff, and my daughter comes out there and she'll look. Brittany comes out and go through your house. We'll colors out. We'll make sure that we'll put your house in a situation where you are ready to sell. And the steps of that is, you do the presentation, you will have us come out there and look through your house. We get it ready to take photos. The thing about the photos is I'm not a photographer, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pay somebody professional to come out that does this for a living. They'll come out, do the photos. We'll set you up in HAR, and we'll start doing the marketing. And Brittany does a great job of marketing the home to every place, social media, to HAR. We're even doing some in LinkedIn just to get it out there. And then you just need to allow us time to set up the actual showings. That's kind of important. We'll get it set up with some sanitation stuff, some booties for people to walk in the house, maybe some gloves, so that people can actually come to your home. And you need to be flexible enough to be outside when somebody comes through. I know that just like buying and selling kind of like, there's 3 negotiation times throughout the buyer sale of your home. Number one, you negotiate the initial price. If you're a buyer, you negotiate with the seller on what is it you're trying to offer for that person for that house. The next is, once you do that, the inspection comes, and then you're going to negotiate the repairs, or money in lieu of repairs. And the third time is after the appraisal. If the appraisal comes in right, then there's no negotiation. If by chance the appraisal comes in low, then that's the last negotiation before you actually close. So there's a lot of things out there. I've been doing this for a minute, and I really enjoy all of that. I think that that it's just relax, be totally upfront with the realtor, with me, and I'll help you find what you want, because the most important thing is for you to get what you want. One last thing is that's really important is dealing with builders. So a lot of people find themselves going to builders by themselves, which is fine. I mean, you're totally welcome to. But the builder, the new home counselors that are in those new builds, they work for the builder. They are going to legally, morally, and ethically correctly to sell the home to you. Whereas if you bring in a representative like myself, last year over 50% of my sales were new homes. It gives me the opportunity to take that next step, because I know through my experience with new homes kind of what the builders can and can't do. And I'll ask all those extra questions that you may not be educated enough to ask yet, because you've never really dealt with the new build. So some things are, asking for washer dryers, refrigerators, blinds. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that are important to you. Also, time of the year when you go there, through the steps. And here again, it's free to you as a buyer. I'll just go there. I'll go there with you. I'll sit down with you. I'll help you through the contracting, help you on the negotiating process. And it's a service that you kind of owe yourself. However, I'm not telling you you're not smart enough to do it, because you are. But why not bring somebody that's done it before?
Yeah, that is so right. I mean, it's completely free for the buyer, but yet the buyer also has that representation that is just for them, because the builders, they just want to get those houses sold. And I completely forgot about that. And thanks for reminding me about selling the home. I completely forgot about that too.
I know, no worries. It's with today's market. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting messages. I received one probably about an hour ago. Rickey, hey, it's been a long time. In about a month, I'm ready to buy and sell. I think I'm ready to sell my home. We're looking for another one. I'll let you know. Things like that. It's never too soon to contact me, because there may be things you need to do that take you a little bit. The other part of it is you may do things that you don't. Met with a person probably a year ago, and they redid their whole house, all the flooring with real interesting carpet. And the feedback from everyone was that a lot of people don't care for carpet anymore. Mm-hmm. So that might have been a good opportunity to do an allowance instead. So major things, roof maybe because it needs it, or these are things that are, maybe there's problems with. All right, I get that, but I've seen people do work that is unnecessary. And I'm going to give you a great, and this even happened to me probably years and years ago before I became a realtor. I was going to remove all of in my house. My house was older, and I was going to take it down. I was going to go buy new air vents and put it back up. I mean, I wanted the perception, I wanted to be new, look clean, everything. And my realtor at the time, she was pretty funny. She's like, don't do that. Because I had them all out. I had them in the garage. I was measuring them to order new ones. She goes, no, wash them, spray paint them, and then put them back up. And I washed them, I cleaned them up, I spray painted them, I put them back up. They look like new. It cost me the order initially. It was going to be about $360. So I saved quite a bit of money for that. So
Yeah.
it allows that opportunity.
Yeah, that's really great advice, because there's people out there who want to do all these upgrades to their house in the mind of maybe selling it, but they may not need to do all that. And you, as a person who works with people all the time, you would know what's going to increase the value, what buyers are looking for. So yeah, like putting new carpet in the house, that's a great idea to mention, because I don't have any carpet in my home, and I prefer it that way. So many people have allergies and stuff. So yeah, that's really great advice. Yeah. And I love the fact that you mentioned that when you do sell the home, put it up on the market, like you stage it. And that's really awesome. Because yeah, the staging is really important too.
No, it is. I mean, because you want to make it very neutral, very neutral. I think probably one of the biggest things is that you're going to find from working with me is I'll give you ideas, I'll give you some suggestions. Ultimately, I work for you. So, okay, based on market, this is the value of your home. This is, if you want to sell it, this is the amount you should list it for. And then you kind of at that point, because I know when I moved from Bridgeland to Fairfield, at that time I wasn't a realtor. My wife was a realtor, and we had some knockdown dragouts about, I'm not selling my house for that. My house is worth more than that. But I didn't understand the market. And she just looked at me like I was crazy and basically didn't listen to me. And we put our house on the market and we sold it like within days because it was priced to sell based on the market. And unfortunately right now, the market is, you may have kind of push what you're going to sell it for. So based on the market, this is what you should sell it for. And then you need to, at that point, you make a decision. The other thing is you can have the realtor, I can do a net sheet for you. And I'm sure you're very familiar with a net sheet, is I can go in and based on, what we have it listed at, what you owe, whether or not we provide a warranty for the buyer, and what the taxes are, you can get a feel for, a guess for what you'll come out of the house with.
Yeah, and that's really important if you have a certain house in mind and, and the payment in mind of what you want to pay and what you need for the down payment, all that goes into play. So that, yeah, those numbers are really important.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. And here again, everybody, I think, watch, take care of yourself, and right now you can buy and sell homes. I mean, it's happening. People are selling and buying homes every day. You can see even on Facebook, people are closing every day. Mm-hmm. So they're doing a little bit different in the closings. In some cases, they're closing outside of the building on a table. I think I've even seen a couple Zoom closings. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of ways now with modern technology to maintain the distance and still buy that home and be in that home that you really want to be in.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, we are wrapping up at about 9:30. Anything else, Ricky, that you wanted to mention?
No, not at all. You can reach me at Rickey Chavez Realtor on Facebook, or you can send me an email. Rickey Chavez is RICKEY Chavez, Chavez, at Gary Green, with the E at the end.com. Gary Green, our brokerage is the largest brokerage in Houston. We have over 20 plus offices. We have over 1,300 realtors. Hey, what's going on, little guy? How you doing?
Say hi.
Hi.
This is my
Perfect.
youngest, Owen.
Oh yeah? How's it going, Mr. Owen? You doing all right? Yeah? You like being at home, or you about ready to do something else?
I think he likes being at home. Like an hour
Dunno.
of homework each day compared to 8 hours in the school classroom.
I mean, I would think that was pretty good. Probably get pretty good at Xbox if you play Xbox. I know my grandson's 7 or 8, and he's here, and all I can hear him and my other grandkids, they're online together, just yelling and screaming and just having fun.
Yep.
But and then as far as the brokerage, I mean, if you look at all the stats for our brokerage, I mean, every year we list the most, we sell the most, and we have support throughout the city. So I'm glad to help anybody.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for jumping on with me today, Rickey. And I'm recording this, so I will get you the recording of this and we can share it out to our people.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks a lot for having me.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.